but I want your guys' test tomorrow to really be a nice surprise. Okay, I think you're grabbing this stuff. All right. Okay, so problem number 6. This is, oh, Adrian, you want this one? What's my vertex? Shh. 1, -4. So remember, it's coming out its opposite. And this one is the same, right? So 1, -4 is down here. And looking at the directions below, they wanted the vertex listed, so make sure you list it. Okay? It looks like our pattern graphing is going to provide us with the y-intercept. Okay? But I'm gonna make sure, so the y-intercept is 0, c. My friends, when it's set up in this form or it's in the factored form, you can't just plug in the last value. A lot of people will say, oh, the vertex has to be 0, -4. You'd be incorrect on that because it's not in the standard form. So if you wanted to find the y-intercept this way, you're going to take your equation and you're going to do the math to get this. So you get y-intercept is at 0, -2. Okay? Now, that falls right there. But this one, our pattern graph will indeed show it because my vertex is really close to that y-axis. Okay? But again, we're going to highlight this because we also wanted to know that. We wanted to know the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is always which part of the vertex? It's the x. So it's x equals 1. So the axis of symmetry, and again, this was something that we wanted to make sure you had for the axis of symmetry. So that answers all the questions. Now we're ready to start pattern graphing. Okay, so it's a times 135. What's my a value on this problem? 2. So 2, 135. So I get 2, 6, 10. And again, remember I said a big mistake people are making. You get the right one up 2 and the left one up 2. Okay? Now where people goof up is if I'm going to go right again and up 6, I go right 1. Some of you are going right 6, up 6. No, it's right 1, up 6. And left 1, up 6. Okay, so there's my parabola. Okay, so just watch out on that. Remember, so I'm going to put a little note. Always right 1, left 1. Okay, the vertical would change as you pattern graph, but remember, so again, what I'd seen on like past tests or quizzes was you had the right 1, left 1 correct, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, now I go right 6, up 6, and left 6, up 6. Don't do that. So make sure you make this little note. Okay? We all right with that? Give you a little bit more time to write down. Coffee is someplace. Kills my immunity. Any questions on number 6? You feel comfortable with it? May I move on? Mike, you good? Yep. Everyone else good? All right. Number 7. What form is this one in? What do I find because I have 2 sets of parentheses? find the roots. This is in the roots form. Okay? So I'm going to go x minus 3 equals 0 and x plus 3 equals 0. Do the math on each. So that gives me 3 comma 0. That is a root. And minus 3 minus 3. So I get negative 3 comma 0. And there's my other root. So positive 3 comma 0. Negative 3 comma 0. And please note that it did ask you to find the roots. Those are the roots. Okay? What appears to be right in the middle of it? Yeah. 0. So if I wanted to find my vertex, I look what's directly in the middle. On this particular one, 0 happens to be in the middle. 0 is not always in the middle of the 2 points, but on this one it is. How do I find the y part of the vertex once I know the x part of it? Plug it in. So I'm going to plug it in here and here. Make sure you keep everything there. So I'm going to get negative 0 minus 3, 0 plus 3. So I get negative, that's negative 3, positive 3. Negative times negative 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So I get 0 comma 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ready to pattern graph. So it's going to be a times 135. What's my a value? Negative 1. So does this make sense that this should open downwards? So if I go right 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, right 1, down 3, left 1, down 3, and if I went right 1, down 5, fell there, left 1, down 5. So do I know the y-intercept? I do. My y-intercept happens to be the same thing as the vertex, which was 0 comma 9. So that's another highlighted part. Hey. Well, gotcha. Thank you. Yeah, buddy. All right. So y-intercept, roots, vertex. Oh, vertex also has to be one of our answers. Yeah.
So the negative side in front of the parentheses, that doesn't change the negative 3?
Nope. It only changes the pattern graphing. Okay. Yeah, that negative sign, this negative sign here only changes the pattern graphing. Okay. All right. Problem number 8. You with me? Oh, shoot. Was everyone done with that one? I'm sorry. You went? Okay. Sorry about that. I'll go back.
So yeah, looks like you got a percent card.
I like it. Is it a flavor or something?
Two different flavors.
What's the 2 flavors?
Watermelon and blueberry.
Yeah, baby. You good, Adrian? Everyone else good? All right. Last one that we're graphing, as far as this way goes. So I have y, this is number 8. Y equals x minus 1 quantity squared. First thing you should recognize is you're missing that. So do I know my vertex now? If so, what is it? Go the other way. 1 comma 0. Okay, so remember this is opposite. And I added that to the end. Someone might say, well, can I have minus 0? Well, minus 0 is the same thing as positive 0, so that's not going to matter. So my vertex is at 1, comma 0, which is right here. So it did ask for the vertex. So make sure we have that highlighted. And it's also asking for the y-intercept. So again, the y-intercept, if our graph is far away, we know the y-intercept is 0, comma c. I don't have a c value there. Okay, so I have to plug it in and get this, which is going to give me -1 squared plus 0, which is 1 plus 0, which is just 1. So my y-intercept is 0, comma 1. Okay, so those were the two answers. All right, am I ready to start pattern graphing? Yeah, my pattern graph is going to be a times 135. My a value is what on this problem? It has to be a 1. There's a 1 out in front, so I got 1 times 135, so it's just going to graph normally, so 135. So again, I'm going to go right 1, up 1, left 1, up 1. I found the y-intercept, right 1, up 3, left 1, up 3. There's plenty there for us to draw in our parabola. Okay, so you would probably tomorrow see 8 similar types of problems. I can't guarantee that problem number 1 is identical to problem number 1. But if you had one that had 2 sets of parentheses, look for the one on your paper on this sheet that had 2 sets of parentheses and follow it through. If you had one that had 1 set of parentheses, look for the one that has 1 set of parentheses. If you had one that was in standard form, look for that. That's ax squared plus bx plus c. Yeah.
Can we use this really fast?
Yes. Yep. All right. So on, everyone done with this? Adrian, good? Everyone else good? All right. So you will have a matching section. Okay. So problem number 5 looks like this. Problem number 6 looks like this. And we misnumbered, but I think you're kind of following what I have. So I'm actually going to write all of these down. It looks like I don't even know number 10. I don't know why. These are just totally misnumbered, but not to worry. Okay. So I'm going to highlight a couple of the problems that I think are the tougher ones to do. Okay? That's okay. Okay, so we have a couple of them that might be a little bit tougher to do because they aren't handed to you appropriately. Okay, they're in standard form. I think standard form is a little bit harder. So I think that this one here and this one here are the tougher of the two. Okay, so if you keep that in mind on the quiz, there's some that you could probably just do pretty easily. So I know the vertex of this first one is 0, 0. My pattern graph is going to be 1, 3, 5. So if I go look at the graph, I look where I have a 0, 0 opening up. 0, 0 opening up. Which one appears to be 0, 0 opening up? B? Seem okay? There's no other. Is that 0, 0 opening up? So I think I could easily say this is answer B. Okay? What I would do if I was doing the test on my own, I would cross off letter B. Okay? Second problem, it appears to have a vertex at 0, 2, and it's going down, so my pattern graph's doing this. So let's find the one that goes up 2, but it's opening downward. Looks like I have a couple opening downward, but I think letter A is the only one that has that vertex with that pattern graph. And again, what I would do is I would cross off letter A and then move on forward. I get to number 7. I'm going to skip number 7 for right now because I think it's one of the tougher ones. Okay? So then number 8, I know that my vertex is 3, 4, and my pattern graph is going down. So let's look for a vertex, one that's going down. So find the ones going down. And look for the one that has a vertex at 3, 4. I think letter E might be good. Agree? Okay, again, I would cross off letter E as my graph, and then go to the next one. Say, okay, I have a vertex of this one of -1, -4, and this pattern graph is going up, 1, 3, 5. So let's find the one that has, it's opening up, and I go to -1, -4. F looks like +1, -6. I think G. Does G look like it might work? So that's letter G. And again, I would cross off letter G. I found my vertex and works out. Number 11, I have a vertex at 1, -3. And my pattern graph is opening up at normal rate. So opening up, and I'm going to go find 1, -3 opening up. Yeah, some of the numbers are skipped. I don't know why. What do you think? Which one has a vertex of 1, -3? C. And again, once I've used C, I'm going to cross it off. Number 12, I have a vertex at -1, +3. Pattern graph is going to be 2, 6, 10, so it's going to be get a little steeper. So opening up, -2, or excuse me, -1, 3. What do you think? H. And again, if you're crossing them off as you're going through it, you're getting to more and more. 13, I'm going to skip. Okay, I'm going to skip for right now because it's a little bit tougher. And then number 14, I have a vertex at 1, 6. My pattern graph is going to be -3, -9, -15. So it's opening down. So vertex of 1, 6. 1, 6, opening down. What do you think? 1, 6, opening down. I. Okay. So I have A, B, C. Do I have D? Nope. So D is one that I need to worry about. I have E. I don't have F. I have G. Do I have a G up there? Wait, do I have G up there? I have G, H, I. So D and F. So 7 and 13 are either D or F. They're going to both open up. But what sticks out on one of them that you might be able to figure out without even finding the vertex? So this one has a pattern graph of 1, 3, 5. I don't even have my vertex. And this one has a pattern graph of 2, 6, 10. So we're going to go to letter D. You find the vertex, and it looks like it goes right one, up one. So for graph letter D, is that going to be number 7 or number 13 if my pattern graph was right one up one? 7 is D, which means the last one has to be F, right? Does the pattern graph appear to go right one up 2? The answer is yes. Okay, now I just showed you a good way, a good method of going through and doing that problem. Okay? Okay. Notice I didn't find the vertex of 7 and 13. I used a little bit of logic to go to it. Now, if the logic didn't happen, other things might stick out on those problems without even doing much. Okay? You could find the y-intercept of 0, 3 and 0 y-intercept of 0, -4. So if they both had the same pattern graph, then take a look saying, well, which one has a y-intercept of 0, 3 and which one has a y-intercept of 0, -4? Okay? I didn't even find the vertex. So this would be a really good way of not only using that type of elimination on this test, but if you had an ACT or an SAT, imagine if you're taking the SAT or SAT and you had 4 choices and you could eliminate 2 of them just for obvious reasons. That takes you down from a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right to a 1 in 2. Okay? Yeah, I'd rather a 50-50 shot than a 25% shot. 50% getting it right or 25%. I'd take the 50 all day long. Okay. Now, the very back page is completely blank. Agreed with me? So I think on the back, let's just jot some notes down. If I had y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So if you had a problem like this is called standard form. You know that you're going to have x equals -b over 2a. You're going to list a equals, b equals, and c equals. We don't have an a, b, and c value on this because we just have the letters. We know that the vertex is going to be -b over 2a. Plug in for x to get y. Okay? You also know that the y-intercept is 0, c, and your pattern graph is going to be a times 135. Okay? So that might be some good directions of how to do it. We've already worked out those kind of problems, but this might be good for you to have on the back side just as some extra notes. You also might have a problem that looks like this. Okay, so this is called vertex form. If I found my vertex, I know that my h value goes into my k value. The h value is opposite. The k value is the same. If I wanted to find the y-intercept of this one, plug 0 for x to get y. So you get 0, something. Pattern graph is going to be a times 135. Okay? So that might be some good notes for you on that type of problem. And then the other one that we might see is something like this. Yeah. So I have y equals a quantity x plus question mark, and the other one is x plus question mark. This will solve for our roots. Okay, so you go x plus question mark equals 0, and you go x plus question mark equals 0. So this would be x equals negative question mark. This would be x equals negative question mark, which would give you negative question mark, comma 0, and negative question mark, comma 0. Those are supposed to be question marks. My pattern graph on these would be A times 135. If there's nothing out in front of it, your pattern is just 1, so 135. Okay? Let's see. And then the last thing is you know that the axis of symmetry, so AOS, is negative B over 2A. Okay, that's what this finds. Or halfway between roots. Okay? So friends, that information is all good information. That packet can be used on the quiz tomorrow. I bet you you're going to feel a little bit like, oh, I feel silly. I threw that away. Don't. I'm giving you something that is really a valid thing to use. You're like, oh, I left it at home. Dude, that stinks. Okay? Okay? Anything else we need to talk about? We feel comfortable with it? Those of you who weren't here yesterday, you know to look back at yesterday's video to get the first 5 problems worked out, right? Yeah. Make sure you get those down, write them down. I'm leaving you the rest of the period right now to kind of just organize your thoughts. Come ask me if you have any questions. If you have any missing homeworks that you have done, come see me and I'm happy to put them in the book for you. Some of you have old tests and quizzes that need to be made up. I highly encourage those are done before spring break. Okay, let's face it, I won't see you for 9 days. You're going to forget a lot of stuff. Okay, so let's make sure things are made up. Even if you're not 100% ready for something, you're going to probably be better on it prior to spring break than after spring break. And right now you have a 0 that's your grade, so no matter what you get on it, your grade's going to improve. Okay? So sometimes it's okay to, wave the I surrender flag. I'm going to do the best I can, hopefully get some points. Yeah.
So I have a question.
Hey, let me stop the recording first.